Good morning, children. Today, let's complete the seventh lesson packing. The other day, I explained up to paragraph number 10. In that, George placed a piece of butter on the chair, and Harris, by mistake, sat on it, and it stuck to his back, and George was searching for that butter. See, here they are talking. Look at page, para number 11. I take my oath, I put it down on the chair, said George, staring at the empty seat. He kept it on the chair, but then Harris sat on it, so it stuck on his back. So he was telling, I saw you do it myself not a minute ago, said Harris. Harris also saying, but he didn't know that it was on his back. He was telling, yes, I too saw you kept it on the chair. Then they started round the room again looking for it, and then they met again in the center and stared at one another. So they searched all the room. Most extraordinary thing I ever heard of, said George. So mysterious, said Harris. What will happen to that piece of butter when he kept it on the chair a few minutes ago, and now it is disappearing? Then George got round at the back of Harris and saw it. Why, here it is all the time, he exclaimed indignantly. Where? Cried Harris, spinning round. Stand still, can't you? Roared George, flying after him. And they got it off and packed it in the teapot. So, what to do what? We don't know, but somehow they kept it in the teapot again. Then Montmorency was in it all, of course. This Montmorency is their pet dog. Its ambition in life is to get in the way and be sworn at. If he can squirm in anywhere where he particularly is not wanted, and be a perfect nuisance, and make people mad, and have things thrown at his head, then he feels his day has not been wasted. See, generally, this is the Montmorency, their pet dog. Sometimes these pet dogs are very naughty, even some like children. They meddle with everything in the house, and if the parents scold at them and they beat them, then they feel happy. Okay, today I did some nuisance, I did some mischief. So this dog is also like that. To get somebody to stumble over him and curse him steadily for an hour is his highest aim and object, and when he has succeeded in accomplishing this, his conceit becomes quite unbearable. So it causes a lot of disturbance to people, and if they scold it, if they shout at it, it feels accomplished, it feels happy. He came and sat down on things just when they were wanted to be packed. The dog came and they kept the things there to be packed, it sat on them. And he labored under the fixed belief that whenever Harris or George reached out their hand for anything, it was his cold, damp nose that they wanted. So whenever they stretched their hand to pick up a particular thing, so it went and touched their feet. It thought that they wanted to touch its nose. He put his leg into the jam and he worried the teaspoon. Here, worried means disturbed. And he pretended that the lemons were rats and got into the hamper and killed 3 of them before Harris could land him with the frying pan. So he hit it with a frying pan. So there were lemons to be packed. It went after those lemons, and it thought as if they were rats, it scratched 3 of them. Harris said, I encouraged him. I didn't encourage him. Who is telling that I means here? Jerome, the narrator. So then Harris generally blames, Array, Jerome, because of your over pampering, this dog is behaving like this. A dog like that doesn't want any encouragement. Some people, mischievous children, they don't need any encouragement. They simply do them some mischief. This dog is also like that. It's the natural, original sin that is born in him that makes him do things like that. Then the packing was done at 12:50, and Harris sat on the big hamper and said he hoped nothing would be found broken. George said that if anything was broken, it was already broken, which reflection seemed to comfort him. He also said he was ready for bed. We were all ready for bed. Harris was to sleep with us that night, and we went upstairs. So they like that these people conversed, okay, we did everything, so nothing will break in the bag now because whatever that breaks, they already broke outside. We tossed for beds and Harris had to sleep with me, he said. Do you prefer the inside or outside, Jay? I said I generally prefer to sleep inside a bed. Harris said it was odd. George said, what time shall I wake you, fellows? Because next day they are going on a trip, so they have to wake up early in the morning. Harry said 7. I said no, 6, because I wanted to write some letters. Harris and I had a bit of row. Row means here some conversation, some dispute over it, but at last split the difference. Split the difference and said 6:30. So an average. One said 7, one said 6. So at 6:30, they decided to wake up next morning. Harris and I had a bit of row over it, and but last split the difference and said 6:30. Wake us at 6:30, George. We said. George made no answer, and we found on going over that he had been asleep for some time. So we placed the bath where he could tumble into it on getting out in the morning and went to bed ourselves. So again, they made a mischief. They placed the bathtub just next to the bed of the George, so that whenever he woke up next morning, he falls into it, and he would have a. They can say that in Twitter. Okay, we kept it there so that you can take bath immediately after waking up. With that pretext, they kept that bathtub there. That it's a part of trick. It's a sort of mischief. Okay, children. This is the lesson about packing. How three people packed things and the different types of nuisance they made, and how their pet dog disturbed their packing that effort. All these things are just described in a jovial manner in this lesson. It's a funny story. Of course, it's a part of a novel, Three Men in Boat. Okay, now you try to write down the answers for the questions given at the end in your running notes. Okay, children?